To begin, locate the arrows stamped in the roller tube mounting plate subassemblies. This should be aligned with the top of the compartment edge and the front edge of the plate spaced no more than 1 3/4 inch back from the front face of the vehicle body as shown. With the plate held in position, mark the 4 mounting hole locations on the compartment sidewall. Some OEMs pre-punch their mounting holes. Drill 1 hole and secure the mounting plate with a number 10 sheet metal screw or other fastener suitable for the material thickness of the body. Ensure the head of the fastener is not protruding above the face of the mounting plate. Use the mounting plate as a drill guide to drill the remaining 3 holes. Note that the left and right side compartment walls must be flush with the left and right edges of the compartment opening. Otherwise, the mounting plates will have to be shimmed up until the underside of the mounting plates are flush with the compartment edge. Repeat this process for the other mounting plate on the other side of the compartment. If your door does not include the optional bottom sill, the following step may be skipped. Otherwise, trim the rubber side seals at the bottom of the guide channels and test fit them in the aperture of the body, keeping each end of the guide channels firmly pressed against the compartment wall. Make a small pencil or tape mark on the left and right side edge of the guide channels to locate the edge of the bottom sill. Remove the guide channels from the opening and peel the backing from the double-sided tape on the bottom of the sill, taking care to center it between the marks. The seal might be slightly wider or narrower than the marks, depending on your aperture width tolerance. Adhere the seal to the bottom of the compartment opening as shown, pressing firmly down on the tape to secure it to the body. A small drilling groove is provided to utilize additional fasteners, which are not provided. Install the roller tube subassembly in between the pre-positioned cradles on the mounting plates with the straps facing forward. Note, the wider doors may have more than 2 roller tube straps. Secure the roller tube shaft in the cradles on both sides with the cotter pin supplied with the mounting plates. Make sure to open the cotter pin legs on the rear of the cradle to secure it. Do not remove the spring retaining pin passing through the roller tube shaft on the left side of the roller tube subassembly at this time. The roller tube is under spring tension, and this pin maintains the tension until the door curtain is installed. Allow the straps to wrap around the back of the roller tube. Notice the brackets riveted on the top of the curtain denote the edge of the curtain that is to be fed into the compartment. Slide the top of the curtain through the top of the compartment opening and over the top of the curtain roller wheels on the mounting plates as shown. Continue to feed the curtain over the top of the roller tube until enough has drooped over the back of the roller tube to expose the curtain brackets, and hold the handlebar at the top of the compartment. Hook the male brackets on the strap into the female brackets riveted on top of the curtain. For large doors, it may be helpful to have 1 installation technician inside the compartment to attach the straps while 1 or 2 others feed the curtain in over the top of the roller wheels and roller tube. Now that you have installed the curtain onto the roller tube, install the handlebar by sliding it on from the end of the curtain, ensuring that the knuckle on the top of the handlebar is secured into the knuckle on the bottom curtain lath. Ensure that the plastic extrusion is positioned correctly between the halves of the knuckles. Removing the retaining pin will release spring tension on the tube, and the spring will act as a counterbalance to the weight of the curtain. When removing this pin, the installation technician should use a firm hand to pull on and maintain tension on the top edge of the curtain to relieve spring pressure on the pin, making it easier to pull out. Gently release the spring tension on the roller tube with your hands and allow the curtain to wrap itself onto the roller tube. Watch your fingers for pinch points during this step. Use of suitable protective work gloves is strongly recommended. The roller tube on your door comes from the factory with a preset amount of spring tension from an internal torsion spring. Failure to release this tension in a controlled manner may result in personal injury and damage to your roll-up door. Do not attempt to adjust the tension on the roller tube as it comes preset from the factory. Slide the guide channels with the side seals onto the sides of the curtain. Note the guide channels are handed, meaning there are specific left and right hand sides to the guide channels. The large rearward facing chamfer at the end of the guide channels goes at the top of the vehicle compartment. With both guide channels on either side of the curtain, gently lower the curtain into the opening until the front flanges on the guide channels are resting against the front face of the vehicle body. The curtain should coil freely around the roller tube. With the curtain open, secure the guide channels to the sides of the vehicle compartment with number 8 sheet metal screws or other fasteners suitable for the material thickness of the body. These should go down in the recessed slots provided in the guide channels. The heads of the fasteners must not protrude above this slot, or rough operation of the door will be the result. Note that if your roll-up door has the locking feature, a 1/8 inch diameter hole will be pre-drilled about 2 inches from the bottom of each guide rail. These are the pilot holes for drilling the intercept holes for the locking rods and must be kept clear for the final installation steps. Note that the step in the drip rail laps over the top of the guide channels. Trim the top seal in the drip rail to fit the remaining opening between the guide channels, and trim the side seal on the guide channels to butt up against the top seal and the drip rail. If your roll-up door includes the optional 2-piece top seal, the adhesive back rubber seal must be applied to the curtain before securing the drip rail to the body. Fully close the door and temporarily holding the drip rail and top seal in place, use a light pencil mark or a temporary piece of tape to locate the rubber seal on the curtain so that it intercepts at least one of the fingers of the extruded portion of the top seal when the door is closed. Do not apply the portion of the top seal when the door is closed. Do not apply the adhesive back seal across the crack between the door curtain laths. If you have a single piece type top seal, you may proceed without this step. A groove for locating drilling points is provided in the drip rail. It is recommended that this be done using drill bits with stops on them, and that the door is closed and latched to ensure that the bit does not scratch the visible face of the door. Drill starting holes for a 3/8 inch long sheet metal screw. Number 8 sheet metal screws are recommended. Screws longer than this may damage the seal or scratch the door. A spacing between 12 and 16 inches is recommended for fasteners. The mounting surface of the drip rail should have some silicone sealant applied around the mounting holes in order to aid with water resistance. If your drip rail includes the optional cover plate, the cover must be installed by sliding and tapping it in from the side. Use a soft block of wood against the aluminum extrusion to avoid denting or scratching it. After the cover is in place, the end caps may be tapped into place in the same manner as the cover. Notice that the end caps are handed, left and right. It is recommended to use silicone sealant around the mounting holes on the rear surface of the keepers prior to attaching them to improve water resistance. Now pull the door down and close it, and make sure that the handlebar easily snaps past the keepers and into the latch position. Check to ensure that the bottom seal on the door has good compression against the bottom of the compartment. If your roll-up door includes the 2-point locking feature, use the provided 1/8 inch diameter pilot holes to place a small amount of modeling clay or plumber's putty. Close and latch the door and attempt to lock it. This will mark the putty precisely. To drill out the locking rod intercept holes, use a 3/8 inch drill bit at this mark. When the holes have been drilled, close and latch the door, and test the locking rods for proper functionality. If any resistance is encountered by the locking rods, enlarge the holes slightly until the proper engagement is achieved.